So any questions? I'm serious, because I don't normally prepare talks, because you never know who you talk to. So let's see what happens here.
There you go.
There's something, yeah. I mean, if you see what I see, I just did a little sketch, what's and ifs. And this is basically what I do. You know, you ask yourself a question, what if? What happens if you can pick any of them? I mean, like, actually I'll start with this maybe, which is, where are they when you need them? With this, like, I studied architecture, as David Lieberman, who studied with me, can testify. And it didn't take me very long to realize that I'm not cut to work for other people. And it's extremely difficult to work for other people after lunch. So one lunchtime I didn't come back, and I worked in a firm in Hampstead, which is not very far from where I live, or where the studio is now. And I had the idea to choose a car seat to make a domestic piece of furniture with. And I knew that I have to choose, not do it to any old car seat. I had to choose carefully and to stick to one make of cars. And the winner was Rover 2000 from the 60s, for all sorts of reasons. It was symmetrical, it had 4 bolts, and I liked the mechanism to tear the handle that you could, and a sprung torsion spring, so you can adjust it with your back. Perfect. And these pieces, these perfectly good leather chairs, were thrown to scrapyards. So one afternoon I didn't go back to the office after lunch, and I did this piece, and I opened my own studio. I didn't know studio for what yet at that time, because I never thought I'm going to become a furniture designer. And it was sitting there dormant for quite a while, until one Christmas holiday, some French guy knocked on the door. It was a bus door, actually. Maybe this bus door. And I told him, sorry, we're closed. And he said, but I want to buy this chair. I said, we're open. And he actually bought this very chair that you see in the picture, plus 5 more. And he paid me a check there and then, and gave me an address in Paris to deliver them to. It was £99 each, like more or less like the books cost now. And after the holiday, my partner Caroline came and said, "Oh, Jean-Paul Gaultier bought chairs." I said, "Who is Jean-Paul Gaultier?" It was 81, and he didn't know who Jean-Paul Gaultier was in 81. And not because of him, but after him, it became a bestseller, because he used to come to London to smell and to sniff, to see what are the new trends from street fashion. And later I discovered that we were born on the same date as well, which is funny. Anyway, after that I couldn't get enough of them, and it was so boring. I didn't want to become like a Rover chair factory or something. So we declared the last 100, and some mad Swedish guy bought all 100. And later, almost 30 years later, this is the first one I made that I still keep. And it was abused by me, my friends, my daughters. But the funny thing is that when it was exhibited at the Pompidou Center, I tried to move it half a millimeter from here to here. I was told off for not wearing white gloves. And I was the lender. So someone told me here that they have a rover chair. Am I right? Anyway, yes, I was, yeah. Okay. I mean, the best is that once a couple having paid and, for 2 chairs on the way out, I hear the wife says to the husband, what I really like about this chair is that it reminds me a little bit of a car seat. So I knew that my job was done. At that time I did also made concrete stereo. I made things I could do myself. It wasn't part of any manifesto or ideology, simply what I could get away with. I thought I was doing beautiful objects, like chipping to expose beauty. But it got all sorts of wrong interpretations like ruinism and post-Holocaust and Beirut style, which is okay. I mean, whatever interpretation people come up with, who am I to argue with? Especially when they did an exhibition to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Pompidou Center, they decided that they needed a ruinist there. And there was I, and that was a break. I mean, those days I had to rely on ready-mades, like this light is based on a remote control. It's a remote control light based on a car aerial that can extend and turn the room. Those days, remote controls in televisions, if you remember, were connected with a wire to the television. They weren't like what they are today. And we still knew how to get off the sofa and change channels, something we forgot completely how to do, because there's no remote control, you can't change the channels anymore. Anyway, so later I made a sculpture of these 2 chairs for Vitra, and then there's a re-edition of, I don't see what you see, but anyway, this is going to be to the rover chair what the new Mini is to the old Mini, or what the new Fiat 500 is to it. So it is, I want you to look at it and think by mistake it's a rover chair, but it's not. It's just a... So this is the menu. What do you want me to talk about? After that rover chair, I was asked by Vitra to design a piece for them. They did the Vitra edition. This is like, again, like 25 years ago. The brief was to design things that have no commercial constraint, because Vitra were very good at commercial things. They were doing all the Eames chairs and the Bellini chairs. They didn't need to go to the Milan Furniture Fair every year and show something new. It was working well for them. And later, the intellectual director of Vitra, Mr. Feldbaum, was bored. And as you know, boredom is the mother of creativity, and together with curiosity. And he had the curiosity to ask me to do a piece for them. And I went to visit the factory, the Vitra factory, and I saw state-of-the-art manufacturing, 2,000 people busy doing chair with amazing technologies. I came back to my studio and I completely failed. I did something that I could do without the help of Vitra. And indeed, I did the first prototype without the help of Vitra. The idea here was to do a piece of furniture that is as minimal as a portrait by Matisse, 4 lines, and any child that would see it say, "Mommy, that's a chair, that's an armchair." It was sort of a cartoon of a club chair. There's no great mystery in making a chair comfortable. We know the height, we know the inclination, there's not not a big, it's not space sign. And I knew that this thing that I'm going to do, first, I was very lucky here because I made the first model in cardboard, very small. Then I blew it up, and it wasn't a series of prototypes and experiments. It was right the first time. I knew it's going to be comfortable, but I didn't know that it's going to be sitting on a piece of metal, gave me the sensation of sitting on a waterbed. And people hesitated to sit on it. Will I cut myself? It's metal, or what? And I remember when people started daring sitting on it, there was a uniform sentence, as if someone wrote the script for them, which was, actually, it's very comfortable. And this actually it tells you the story. It's about contrary to expectation. It's very comfortable. So it's like, here's one. Hesitation, then okay. Someone told me they have a bed temperature here. Am I right? Same? Yeah, same, yeah, okay.